Welcome to the Living Unoffended podcast with your host, Brant Hansen.
Welcome. Let's talk about doing something really crazy awesome, and that is forgiving people ahead of time. I absolutely believe this is something that's not talked about enough, but it's something you can actually do because forgiveness becomes a posture. It's a way of life. It's not just a one-off and then a one-off and then maybe a one-off and then, okay, I'll try it again. It becomes your way of being. And so you kind of know how life is going to go in some ways. You know how human nature works? Very fond of pointing out that Jesus, it's at least once, maybe twice, but at least once, and I should have looked it up, but I'll leave it to you if you want to look it up, where the disciples are having a really dumb discussion over by themselves, and it said, but Jesus knew what they were thinking. No one had to tell him what men were like. He knows human nature. We know human nature. This allows me, before I even open up an email, to say, you know what, I'm forgiving this person in advance if they're going off on me. And because I work in media, sometimes they are. And sometimes, something I said didn't come off right, or it was just plain wrong, or I need to grow up. A lot of times, though, I think what they're saying is not fair. I'll be honest with you. But that's life, right? People listen a certain way. They don't catch everything you said. I got blamed, this is hilarious, a few days ago for, I'm just being honest with you. So I don't do, this is terrible. This is so revealing because you'll be like, I cannot believe that this is a problem for you, but I don't do passing gas jokes. I don't. And I've never found them particularly funny, even in middle school. I don't know what to tell you. So that's just not my thing. And hopefully if that is your thing, you can accept me and my people, and I can accept yours. I certainly do. But some listener had contacted one of the radio stations and said, I am so disappointed in Brant Hansen for saying that Jesus loved gas jokes. Like passing gas. I cannot believe he would say something like that. We're done. We're not going to listen to the station anymore. And the program director, who's an awesome guy, writes me. He's like, do you recognize what this is about? I'm like, no, I would never do that. I don't even do that off the air. I wouldn't, that's not my thing. I'm kind of the same guy on and off. I don't do that. And it turns out it was another show on the station actually did that. So that's their thing. But I got a kick out of it. You just never know what's going to come in. So someone specifically ascribed that to me, and I got a kick out of it. The thing is, you've got people you're dealing with. This is true for you, even if you're working at Target at the customer service thing. You're dealing with people from everywhere, right? Work at the airport sometime. That's like all humans walking through there. Here is everyone walking in. People have issues. I can't be shocked every time that people have issues. And especially when you're broadcasting, like literally casting broadly, you're casting this seed that you hope takes root, but it's going everywhere, right? It's going to land on concrete. It's going to get eaten by birds and stuff. Like, I can't control that. So it's a much healthier way to just let this become a posture for you. And you can do this. I promise you can. It takes practice, like we talked about earlier. But you can forgive people ahead of time. I got an email today, and the RE line was something like, your book was awesome, but ... So I'm already like, okay, I'm going into forgiveness mode ahead of time if I need to here. But the guy was talking about unoffendable, and here was his email. I just got this just a couple hours ago. Did you really have to tell me you were the guy on the radio saying how the average family saves $500 per year? So he's referencing the MetaShare ad that I voice. Until I learned that you were that guy, all caps, I was thinking the book Unoffendable is a game changer. It probably saved my life. Sorry, but I turn the radio off when I hear your voice. It's instantaneously automatic. You come on, the radio goes off. So please delete those 5 paragraphs from the next version of the book and everyone stays happy. I'm not angry about it. It's just a strong animosity. Sincerely, Fred. He lives in Montana. I thought that was hilarious. So I wrote him back and told him, thank you. I'm honored you read the book. And I'm sorry if they play the commercials too many times. I just say it once, right? I just say it once. I'm in my little studio over my garage. I say it once. It goes out there. He hears it 500 times and decides he hates me. That's okay. He wrote me a nice note back too, but it's just funny. Like anything can happen. People can say anything. It becomes a way of life. So I wanted to talk about how to actually do this thing. When we talk about becoming unoffendable, that's what I mean in life, where you are in advance going to forgive people. It does not imply that what they're doing is okay. They could be doing something really horrible to you or horrible to other, there's no implication whatsoever of that. But whether or not their actions are going to determine your life is the question. Like your actual physical and mental health, whether they get to determine that is the question. Or is the way of Jesus actually the most freeing thing you can possibly imagine? This is really key too, because every time people talk about the turn the other cheek thing, we're like, well, does he mean we have to be a doormat? I have to turn the other cheek? Look, turning the other cheek in that context is the opposite of being a doormat. Otherwise, the typical human response is what? You hit me, I'm going to hit you. So who is in charge here? You hit me, now I have to hit you because you hit me. So whatever you do, I got to do it. It sounds like you're taking your cue, because you are, from somebody else. So you're actually being ruled over by their actions. But being able to turn your cheeks, like, no, you don't determine my next move, do you? I mean, that's a strong move. It's the opposite of being a doormat. You don't dictate my next move. You don't get to. You might come up to my customer service thing here at Walmart and be throwing a fit. That doesn't mean I throw a fit. It doesn't mean that I'm angry towards you because you're angry towards me. You don't get that power. I live out of my response to what God has done for me, which is so amazing. So, all right, so that's it. That's the posture. How to do this. Number one, be intentional at the beginning of the day. I'm not going to be shocked by people doing the same stuff. Right? It's true of traffic, as we talk about, but it's true of the people you work with, your family. It's true of humans in general. It's people on the news. Pick your side or whatever, but there's stuff they want to bang away and get you angry. Don't fall for it. Secondly, ask God to help you forgive in advance. He wants us to have this posture towards the world. We're acting like Jesus if we do this. And you can see this is his posture too. Do you ever see him being shocked? Just like, what? Cannot believe. What? Now that's gross. You guys, now you have taken it to, you never see that with him. He's not shocked. His demeanor is relaxed. He's in the moment. He knows what humans are like. We can be that way too. Next point. Constantly remind yourself, do this today, of the limits of your own knowledge. This is so important. Like, constantly remember that you don't know the motives of the other person. You don't even know your own motives. People think they do. People think they know other people's motives, and they also think they know their own. They don't. You're a mixed bag. I'm a mixed bag. Even the stuff that would look impressive, like on some sort of a spiritual resume, like that I could fill out, and we can all like try to craft something that makes us look impressive somehow in some way. It'd be like, wow, what a dude. Like, well, but a lot of that stuff I did that looks so impressive, like I did that for different reasons. Not all of them are completely altruistic, to put it mildly. Like going to Afghanistan, I got to go to Afghanistan a few times. And I say I got to because I like that. I like the adventure of it. People are like, wow, thanks. Wow, that takes such courage, or what? And it doesn't. I wanted to. I thought it was cool. I thought there were cool aspects historically. I wanted to see it. And I also wanted to help, cure, obviously. But there's always this mix. And so I just asked God to please sort it out in the end and have mercy on me. And that is exactly along the lines of 1 Corinthians 4. If you want to read that, Paul himself says, I do not know your motives, and I don't even know my own. God will have to sort it out in the end. So that's where I'm coming from. I don't have to know where everybody stands. That is a huge relief, by the way, when you can let that go. We could probably do a whole little episode on that desire to think we can take everybody's spiritual temperature and how wonderful it is to decide we don't have to do that. So constantly remind yourself of the limits of your own knowledge. Next one, question your anger. What is really going on? Anger is a response to perceived threat. It's like a dashboard light. It comes on, it tells you something's wrong. So we understand that. And that in and of itself is not sin, but the desire to hold on to it that is, we have to get rid of that. The intention to hang on to it, the refusal to even say I'm working towards forgiveness, or something, that's a problem because of what God has done for us, and we're showing a lack of understanding and gratitude to Him for that. Forgiveness is between us and God. Ultimately, it doesn't mean we have to be reconciled to somebody. It does mean that we do what God told us to do in light of what He's done for us. But you question your anger, what's really going on? What am I being threatened by, really? What's happening? And a lot of times, this doesn't just make it go away automatically, but sometimes it actually helps a lot because you are finding, like, I don't really need to be threatened by that. And there's so much that we do feel threatened by, but it's more like it's combined with worry, like, oh, that guy just said that. He might get the promotion instead of me, like something for next year. Or he's this could happen, that could happen. So that's one thing, things that don't even happen. Sometimes things aren't actually a threat at all. And a lot of times we're responding to the fact that we've got a problem, actually. And I note this in the book, but Tim Keller pointed it out. It's like, hey, you never notice your elbow unless it's inflamed, right? You've already heard it, so now it's inflamed. So you touch it on anything, it's like, ow. But otherwise, you're not even thinking about your elbow until it's inflamed. Well, if you've got an inflamed ego, you're always hitting it against stuff, and people are always hitting it constantly, no matter what. You're constantly being threatened. You're being triggered because you got an inflammation problem. I've been there too. But that's a maturity thing. You don't want to be triggered by everything because not everything should be a threat. It's really not. When you really think it through too, how many things are genuine threats? I wonder about that because I think about, like, well, if someone said, well, I could take your life, I already gave it away, right? I know it's hard to think about that, but I did. I said I did. Like, I trust God's goodness. So not much can threaten me. Once you lean into that, you're not a super threatenable person. And it changes your personality. You're a lot more peaceful. One or two more. Let's see how to do this. So here's another one. Pray for the people with whom you are angry. We've been talking about that. Pray for them to have peace. That will help you. This is how to do this thing. So if you wake up before the day, you decide you're not going to be upset at people for the same stuff. You're going to forgive them in advance. I'm going to pray for the people who are aggravating me, and I'm going to respond. This will be the last one. There's a lot more we could do, but this will be the second to last one. Respond verbally with gentleness. Decide you're going to do that at the beginning of the day. I am going to respond kindly. There's that proverb, Proverbs 12:18, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Just to remind you about this, in case you've already heard me talk about it, a gentle answer turns away your own wrath when you hear yourself give a gentle answer. It's true. Try it. Say something kind to somebody that is not expecting it. Mid-argument or when they're ticked off about something, you have your wits about you. You can even change the subject. Hey, I know you're upset about that one thing. We could talk about that in a second. I wanted to know how your daughter's doing. I heard, like, you had mentioned that she was sick a couple months ago, but I didn't, like, whatever it is, you turn it so that you're for them. You can find something. It not only turns away their wrath, it turns away yours. This happens online if you respond kindly to an email instead of going to bed broiling about this ongoing problem. You send a kind email, you'll sleep better. Your gentle answer may turn away their wrath. It often does, but not always, but it often does. It's a proverb, it's a general truth, but the fact that it also turns away your own wrath makes it absolutely brilliant. Last thing, remember, this is great to remember in the morning. You're not at war with these people. Even the ones who have turned themselves over to evil. The scripture in Ephesians, Paul is saying, this is in the middle of like they're being persecuted by the government. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. In the spiritual realm, there's very real evil. Our struggle is against that. It's against them. It's not against these other humans who are made in the image of God. And God is ultimately rooting for them. He wants the evil to fail, but he wants to redeem them. That has to be my posture. It's just got to be. Even when I'm seeing stuff on the news, it's just like, I cannot believe the evil, that it's making itself so obvious and has so many victims. Ultimately, it's a spiritual thing that actually helps me, and maybe it'll help you too, but it helps me interface with people during the day or pray for people and have my heart more for them instead of being repulsed. So yeah, there you go. Thanks for listening to this. I hope this is helpful for you today, and just like, we'll keep hitting on this stuff because God wants to renovate our personalities, and this is what following Jesus looks like. So thanks for following me as I follow him, and I'm just learning.
You've been listening to the Living Unoffended podcast with Brant Hansen. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And if you'd like more information on Brant Hansen, his book Unoffendable, and more, go to branthansen.com.